This is me, and this is a massive 25-meter tall rainforest giant we built using our MakeMake concrete clay. The Science Center Universium challenged us to create a central monument for their entire ecosystem. But a structure like this doesn't just need to look real. It has to withstand over 600,000 people climbing, touching, and walking across it every single year. To pull off a project this insane, we had to travel deep into the Costa Rican jungle, take silicone molds of wild trees, and engineer over 130 tons of sculptable concrete into a living, breathing exhibit. Here's the full behind-the-scenes story of how we made it happen. It all started when Jan Weston, chief biologist at Universium, reached out with an ambitious request. They wanted a central monument for their giant indoor rainforest exhibit. But it couldn't just look like a museum prop. It had to be a 100% accurate replica of a wild tree.
På Eriks initiativ faktiskt så åkte vi till Costa Rica och valde ut ett gigantiskt bomullsträd, en slags kapok.
So, together with Jan, we traveled to Costa Rica on our mission to collect and sample straight from nature. Our first stop in Costa Rica was the world-famous La Selva Biological Station, a massive rainforest reserve housing some of the oldest and largest trees on the planet. As we got pointed to where we could find trees that matched our needed proportions for us to create a structure that matches real life, we decided to go on an expedition to take a look around the area and see what we could find. And there it was, a big Kapok tree with its massive roots exposed for us, perfect for us to capture nature's details and make the perfect silicone molds. Back in Sweden, while we're in Costa Rica, the process of building the foundation of the structure has been fully initiated. On the following day, we venture out with our gear, back into the jungle, to capture our silicone molds. To capture nature's details, we mix our own MakeMake silicone to make our easy-to-apply, high-precision molds that we can use on repeat back on the structure. For the best results possible, we leave the silicone to stiffen overnight, which leaves us with plenty of time to explore the rest of La Selva for the next 24 hours. If you want to try out concrete clay or our silicone for yourself, go visit our website at makemake.net. We ship our products throughout all of Europe. And if you haven't seen enough of what our products can do, then remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to not miss another upload from us. The next day, we venture back out in the jungle to collect our molds. The silicone leaves little to no residue behind. The small amounts that is left behind can easily be removed with your fingers. This method of molding does not harm the tree or the nature around it in any way, making the process 100% nature safe. After having visited La Selva, we went back on the road to our next stop. Just texturing our concrete clay tree with our molds isn't going to be enough to create that complete look of authenticity. The way we're going to achieve this is by adding real greenery, to add real natural color to the tree. That's why we're going on a visit to Lars Bo's Tropical Zoo Plant School. We got a tour around the plot where Lars Bo showed us how different trees and plants behave and live in unison. With the help from Lars Bo, we'll import real plants from his school to Sweden that we can use on our tree. But just importing and using these plants isn't enough by our standards. We need to know exactly how these plants behave in nature, so we can apply them to our structure as if it was a real tree in the rainforest. That's why, on the following day, we went out in the rainforest together with Lars Bo to learn directly from nature and potentially take more molds for our structure back in Sweden. Navigating through the rainforest was no easy task, but this was the perfect opportunity to experience how nature behaves in this environment, with some obstacles along the way. Though harsh, we still got a once-in-a-lifetime experience, getting this close to nature. Throughout the rest of the visit, we spent the remaining time picking out and discussing with Lars Bo what species of plants would fit the environment we're creating with our structure. After planning and making a deal, we were nearing the end of our trip to Costa Rica. But we had a quick stop in mind before we head back to Sweden. We made a small detour to have a look at the Sloth Center near the coast of the Caribbean. Before actually going inside to see the sloths, we'd been invited to take a tour around the establishment to experience the local flora and fauna up close via canoe. This was an amazing opportunity to document watery areas for when we have to recreate these environments back at Universum. Once we got back, it was time to head inside to take a look at the sloths. We learned all about how the sloths live in their environment and got an opportunity to get up close with the beautiful animal. After our visit at the Sloth Center, our trip back to Sweden could resume. Now it's time to take everything we've learned and gathered from our trip to Costa Rica and convert it into our finalized goal for creating our massive tree. Before the process of building the tree had even been initiated, a lot of thought and consideration had been put into figuring out how the tree could fit into and enhance the infrastructure of the visitor routing. The tree will feature multiple elevated paths that connect different sections of Universum. This is a conscious decision to improve visitor load within the building by spreading out the paths of the visitors. You might think that suspending this many people up in the air is a major safety risk. While true, this is a non-issue due to the strength of the foundation and the core strength of concrete clay. Concrete clay is a specialized concrete mixture that, while easy to apply and work with, still manages to come with 3 times the strength of regular concrete. This, together with a strong foundation, supported with multiple steel pillars that function as the structure's roots, that go 9 meters deep underground, ensures maximum safety with a long lifespan. Before we could even think about sculpting, we had to solve a massive engineering challenge. How do we support the heavy branches hanging high in the air without any visible columns? The answer lies in the core. Every single branch is custom engineered using an interconnected steel skeleton, reinforced with heavy-duty steel wiring to model the exact organic curves of nature. In high-traffic installations like Universum, safety and structural integrity are non-negotiable. This heavy-duty steel framework guarantees that even under constant load and extreme tension, these branches will never sag, crack, or give way. When applying concrete clay to a structure of this scale, conventional wisdom might tell you to start at the base and work your way up. But in professional sculpting, we do the exact opposite. We apply the clay top down. By starting at the highest branches and working downward, any accidental drips, splashing, or falling material land on the unworked steel frame below, never unfinished, intricate bark textures. This top-down workflow ensures that every millimeter of sculpted detail stays crisp, clean, and completely undamaged as we move down the trunk. Applying standard concrete vertically or overhead is usually a nightmare. It slumps, sags, and cracks under its own weight. But concrete clay's uniquely engineered high-viscosity recipe allows us to apply thick, heavy layers in a single pass directly onto the steel mesh, completely eliminating the need for complex formwork. And by adding our MakeMake color pigments into the concrete mixture, we're able to directly integrate the color onto the outer layer of the tree. Now comes the crucial phase that turns structural concrete into living nature, the final texture layer. It's finally time to use our silicone molds from Costa Rica. By pressing these flexible silicone stamps into the fresh concrete clay, we transfer the exact organic fissures, lichens, and moss structures of a real rainforest giant directly onto the structure. This technique ensures a level of hyperrealism that is virtually impossible to replicate by hand, giving the entire 25-meter tree an authentic, weathered finish. As the final touch to the structure, it was time to integrate the tropical plants we selected with Lars Bo. Embedded directly into the sculpted bark, this living flora completely erases the line between concrete clay and nature, giving the 25-meter Kapok tree its final, breathing reality. And this is the final result. From the forest floor to the sheer scale of the trunk and buttress roots, you feel a complete transformation in the entire hall. Moving through the interior staircases, you experience the structural density and engineering from the inside out, emerging directly onto the elevated suspension bridges, floating right through the canopy alongside thousands of annual visitors. From raw rainforest references in Costa Rica to a 130-ton structural masterpiece in Sweden, designed, engineered, and sculpted to endure for decades. Whether you're building a 25-meter rainforest tree for a world-class science center or sculpting a custom rock wall for your own home, terrarium, or garden, the exact same professional materials used in this project are available for your own creations. Head over to MakeMake.net to explore concrete clay and our high-detail molding silicone. If you want to master the art of realistic sculpting and catch our next massive build, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Now go create something incredible.